We have a topic for the day. This was a very, very popular one. So I'm going to do a training on it. Looks like it was a popular demand type of question. Give me a second. I'm going to tag you guys and then talk to you about uh, if you're trying to lose weight and you feel like nothing is working or you feel like you have tried everything. And I'll tell you right now, so many ladies that I talk to feel that way. So if that kind of resonates with you, you're not alone at all because I hear it a lot actually. And then if you're watching the replay, write hashtag replay in the comments. Let me know that you were here, that you watched the replay. And if you're live, say hello in the chat. Let me know how you are. So right off the bat, I'll tell you that probably 9 out of 10 of my clients that when they come to me, they feel like they've tried everything. They feel like they have just been constantly over the years trying different things and they feel like nothing is working. So again, you're not alone at all when it comes to that. And sometimes there's just puzzle pieces that need to come together. And usually I see 3 different things happening. And I don't want you to say it's completely related to age because most of my clients are in perimenopause, menopause. Everybody's a little bit different, but if you feel like your age is playing a factor and it's just holding you back, it can absolutely be done. Sometimes you just need tweaks to it, okay? So the first thing that I want to talk to you guys about is sometimes a woman isn't consistent enough. So and this might be kind of a little bit of a tough love type of training. So I want you to think about it and think about how you're doing in these topics, okay? If you feel like you're struggling and nothing is working, okay? So first thing we're going to talk about is consistency. So you might feel like you're eating really well, but if you're eating really well, maybe 4 or 5 days a week, and you're kind of slipping maybe 2 or 3 days during the week, that might not be consistent enough to get you to where you want to be. So maybe you're tracking when you're feeling a little bit more motivated. Maybe you're just not tracking maybe on a Saturday, or when you get pizza with the family, or maybe when you're a little bit tired, maybe things are slipping a little bit. Because overall, the weekly average of your calories is going to determine if you lose that weight or not. Okay, so the nutrition piece is going to be extremely important. And ask yourself, be really transparent with yourself, be honest. How much effort do you really, really feel like you're putting in throughout this process? Because if you're putting maybe like 60% of effort in, that's not going to get you really, really good results if you're trying most of the time, okay? And I'm going to be transparent with this too. Everybody's life is very different, and our 100% looks different day to day. So what you really need to focus on as well is giving it 100% for that day. And some days might be a little bit less, and some days you might check all of the boxes. But the most important thing to do is on a day where you just don't check all the boxes, to jump back in the next day and not beat yourself up over it, because that's when you get a little stuck and you want to give up. And that's what we want to avoid. We want to avoid you from feeling stuck and like you just want to, say to heck with it, overall, okay? So the first one is consistency. Be really transparent with yourself. Hi, Jeanette, good to see you. Be really transparent with yourself. Ask yourself how consistent you're being, if you can improve on it, because consistency, it's really a make or break piece overall, okay? Number 2, the second thing that I see that you really need to dig in and look at is you might not be eating the right amount of food to lose the weight for your body, for your metabolism. You might be under eating, and that might have affected your metabolism if you've been doing that for long periods of time. I would say for the ladies that I coach and train, maybe about 20% fall into that category of just not eating enough food. 80% of the ladies, they don't really fall into that category. way. That's for ladies, just they're under eating, they're eating very low amounts of food. Maybe they've been dieting for very, very long periods of time. Their body got used to it. Their metabolism adapted to it. Okay. A lot of ladies, so this is all the topic of eating the right amounts of food. So a lot of ladies will be overeating overall, or they're just eating really close to their maintenance. Maybe they're not in the right calorie deficit for their body and they need to get a little bit, eat a little bit less. Everybody is different as far as how much food that they need to eat overall. So you might be overeating, especially if you're not tracking your food. You don't really know where you're landing. You don't know if you are eating in a calorie deficit, you're eating enough food. If you've never tracked your food in your life before, I highly, highly recommend it because it shows you a lot. It just teaches you a lot about food. And I tell my clients this all the time. Tracking your food, it's not a forever thing. It's a for right now thing to get to your goals. And throughout the process, it just teaches you so much about all different kinds of food, okay? And it's really a tool that you can carry with you for the rest of your life overall. So tracking your food, it's really important to do at least once in your life. And you might be thinking like, oh, I don't want to track my food. That's really hard. Well, staying stuck is really hard too. Staying stuck, not making changes, wanting to lose weight and feel confident for a very, very long time and just feeling stuck, that's hard too. So you kind of have to pick what hard, you got to choose your hard in a way. So tracking your food might be the tool that gets you there. It might be the map that brings you to where you want to get to with your personal weight loss, okay? So maybe the person is overeating or they're close to their maintenance. They're just not in that calorie deficit. Maybe they're not eating enough protein. Maybe the person is just inconsistent with calories because overall it's the average calories that matters for you to lose weight, but maybe you're just not consistent enough with it. Maybe you're in a calorie deficit some days, but other days you're a little bit higher. So it's all averaging out and keeping you a bit stuck. Okay. So that is the second thing that you got to think about and look into. Are you eating the right amounts of food for your body? And if you want a guide on how to get into a calorie deficit, I have a free guide. So you can comment or message me guide and I will send it to you. Okay. All right. The third thing that I see is women will change things a little bit too soon. So you don't need to completely change your diet every single week. You don't have to, make a new diet or change something or take things out or get more strict every single week. You don't need to do that. And also it might be overwhelming throughout the process. So like you start something, you're excited, you're motivated. I need to remind you the scale isn't going to make massive changes right away. And that can also cause women to feel like, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm trying so hard. I'm not losing weight. Like, what the heck? But you have to stick with it. You have to show up, keep going, because the scale, you guys, is not going to change very dramatically. And it shouldn't. It shouldn't, because if you're losing weight too quickly, you're also losing muscle mass. You might be slowing your metabolism down. So it's very, very good for it to be, not stagnant. But if you're losing, you shouldn't be losing tons and tons of weight right away. Actually, throughout the whole process, because it's just going to wreck your hormones. It's not going to have you have good energy. You just don't want to do that. And usually it's a recipe for a quick fix of like losing the weight really quickly, gaining it back really quickly. And that's not what you want. You want to lose the weight. You want to keep it off. And typically that isn't very fast. Okay. So don't give up if you don't see the scale going down as quickly as you want, because usually we see changes in different things compared to the scale. Like we see success in other things compared to just on the scale, okay? So progress can be shown in so many different ways, not just the number on the scale. So remember that it's important to also measure inches, because Ladies, if you're losing body fat and gaining lean muscle, you're going to be losing inches. And sometimes the number on the scale can stay the same because muscle, it weighs something. But if you're losing body fat, the scale might stay the same. There's so many different things that go into the number on the scale. And sometimes it can just fluctuate. But overall, you're losing body fat. So it's important to take measurements. It's also important to think about, are you getting stronger? Because if you're getting stronger, that's a big win too. How's your energy? Is your energy better? Are you sleeping better? All of these are wins that aren't exactly scale related. And one that I see all the time for my clients is, their clothes are more loose. Maybe their bra strap isn't digging in as much. That's fitting better. Or they're able to get into different shorts, wear a certain dress they weren't able to. It was too tight. So if your clothes are getting looser, that is a win. That is a huge win. So sometimes women will change things a little bit too soon because they feel like it's not working. And if you just stuck with it a little bit longer, usually the results are right around the corner. You just gotta stick with it. And that's another reason why it's important to have somebody that holds you accountable, whether it's a coach, a friend, a family member, somebody that, when you feel like you're not doing good and you wanna give up, somebody that picks you back up and say, no, you are doing good. You got to stick with it. You got to put one foot in front of the other, stick with it, because that is how you're going to be successful. We're not going to just see massive success day over day, week over week. It's kind of like if you get a puppy, you're with that puppy all the time and you don't really see that puppy growing day over day. You don't see big changes. Let's say your friend comes over 3 or 4, 5 weeks later and your puppy has grown so much. That's a lot like you and your body. You're with yourself every day. You're not seeing these big changes, but if you gave it more time, you would have big changes, okay? So how are we gonna fix that? Those are the 3 main things that it probably is, but how do we fix it? So you need consistency, number 1. You have to be consistent. You have to stick with it. You can't just half-ass it. You can't just show up really, really good and solid for 4 days. Well, those other 3 days or those other 2 days, maybe you're not showing up as much, and that's kind of evening everything out. That's kind of keeping you stuck, keeping you stagnant, okay? So consistency. You also want to have the proper nutrition balance for you and your body so that way you can lose that weight. If you're putting in all the effort, you're working out, you're trying your best, and you're doing all these things, you want to make sure you have the right portions, the right amounts for your food, for your personal calorie deficit. And again, if you want my free guide, just message me guide and I will send it to you, okay? You want to overall, you don't want to stick to a plan for 30 days. And then say I'm not going to do this anymore. It's not working. You need to stick to it longer. You can't just do something new every 30 days. You have to be more consistent, and it has to be more of a lifestyle change. And I say this all the time. And if you've heard me say it before, it's just because this is the hill that I'm going to die on. Whatever you do, it needs to fit into your lifestyle. You have to take on a plan and a program that you can do long term. So girl, if you can't work out 5 days a week, don't even try. That's a lot. So maybe 3 days a week is better for you. Maybe 4, maybe at home workouts are better for you because you're just so busy with work and your family and your kids, everything going on. Maybe at home is just better, and that way you can stick to it more consistently, okay? So you have to really just be consistent overall. Don't do it for just 30 days. It needs to be a good solid 8, 12 weeks. Then you're going to kind of get into a routine. It's going to get a little bit easier. You're going to start to show up on days that you don't want to because it's more of a habit. And I'm going to tell you right now, motivation, we all know. We all know that it doesn't stay with us. I never feel motivated to do half the stuff I do, almost all the stuff I do. I don't feel motivated to work out. You might think I look like I am motivated based off of maybe my page. I never really want to work out, but I do it because I know I'm going to feel good afterwards. I know it helps with my stress. I know what it feels like to not fit in my jeans, and I don't want to feel like that again. So I just stay consistent even when I'm not motivated. So show up when you're not motivated. Lean into why it's important to you to get to that end result. When you're not feeling motivated, that's what you need to think about, and that's what you need to lean into. Okay, so You got to do something for at least 8 to 12 weeks or so. You do need to hit your calorie goals, okay? So if you know your calorie deficit, you don't have to hit right on the money. That's going to drive you nuts. That would drive you crazy. That would drive anybody crazy. But within like 100, 150 calories a day, you want to be in that range. You want to be consistent. You don't exactly need to be perfect with it. Just be consistent and continuously showing up. So you do need to focus more so on protein, focus on kind of balance compared to restriction. You don't need to take anything out of your diet. And that is a huge red flag if you try any program or any type of anything. If they tell you can't eat this, unless it's a doctor, doctors get a pass because maybe they're trying to help your gut or something like that. But if it is some type of program, if they tell you not to eat something, that is probably the worst thing that you could do, because you should be able to have things that you like, okay? But it's all about planning it out. You need to plan it. And that's, again, why tracking your food is so beneficial and so helpful and can really possibly be what you need to lose that weight. It might be the roadmap that gives you insight to your food and getting you in that calorie deficit, okay? So focusing more on protein balance, not restriction, and also tracking your stats overall on a weekly basis, not just looking at the number on the scale. So sure, yeah, track your weight, but also take pictures, because sometimes you guys, I have ladies that will lose no weight. They'll lose no weight and they completely transform. They are losing body fat, gaining muscle. Everybody's different. A lot of women do lose weight, but I have had clients, they just have a complete body composition change. They shed inches, they lose back fat, they just completely sculpt their back out, but the number on the scale is the same because they lost that body fat, they gained that muscle, and it really transformed them, okay? So that's why you take pictures. Okay, take pictures, take measurements, and focus on your energy levels as well as your strength overall. Those are all really important things to look at, and just not only the number on the scale. All right, ladies, that's what we have for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If I can help with anything at all, shoot me a message. I'm here to help, and have a great day. Talk to you later.